Hi everyone, welcome to How to Become a Data Leader with Tableau Blueprint. In this session, I'll talk about the key lessons we have found organizations, teams, and individuals can apply by using Tableau Blueprint to create a data culture, and what are some of the examples of outcome on why each of these lessons are important to you and your organization. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Erika, and I am Customer Success Manager at Tableau, based here in Tokyo. As a Success Manager, I work with some of our enterprise Tableau deployments. My role is to support our customers create data-driven culture within their organizations based on best practices and use cases. Aside from customer success role, I am leading diversity and inclusion committee with other committee members across different teams in Japan office. In the next 20 minutes, I will share what are the examples our customers have already employed to build data culture at an organizational, smaller teams, and individual level. And I hope you will come out of this session with some ideas of different processes and programs which have actually worked within other customers' organizations. And as an individual and data leader, I hope you will feel excited to help drive change from within your organization. So I want to start with thinking how mature your organization is when it comes to data. Not just as a strategy, not just as an asset, but also as a culture. We know that just having data, even a lot of data, does not make your data mature. And it also does not guarantee success. Sure, data is an asset, but there's so much data today that many organizations are saying that they want to become data-driven by leveraging these high volumes of information, but they just don't know where to begin. But first, we need to ask ourselves why. As an organization, we want to prioritize facts over intuitions. This is something that we often hear, which is great, it sounds good. And if you take it one step deeper, it's because they want to find new business opportunities, which could mean very different things for different organizations. So data culture is about values, behaviors, and attitudes of leadership and employees that promote and enable use of relevant data as the driving force of decision making. We created our own definition of what it means to be a data-driven organization called Tableau Blueprint, but we didn't stop there. We went to the IDC and asked them to run a study of 1,000 respondents who use data within their organizations, regardless of what technology that may be. So the report titled Why You Should Care About Data Culture, and the objectives were to identify visible and invisible elements that influence data culture and examine whether the extent to which organization who embraced the data culture made a difference to their business outcomes. I want to draw your attention to the different 4 stages of maturity from the IDC report, and just take a moment to think about where you and your organization fall on those stages. Starting at the very beginning on the left, this is where your organization is, data aware, and just beginning the very early stages of your journey. And then we have the data adopting stage, where there are pockets of organizations, usually the analytics team and BI team, starting to adopt technology and processes to become more data-driven. And as we move further to the right, data mature is where the majority of different teams and departments have programs to help them drive adoption to their chosen technology. There are formal training, on how to use data, and possibly that is sponsored by leadership team. And finally, data leading, where organizations have a strong data culture with all the 5 elements, which are commitment, talent, sharing, mindset, and trust. A lot of us are probably looking at these stages and thinking we're somewhere between data aware to data mature, where there's a room for improvements, but you don't know where to begin or what good looks like. What was really interesting and surprising about this study was that initial stages, organizations have 1 or 2 siloed data culture programs, whereas data leading organizations have 7 or more enterprise programs, which help sustain and support the business in building an ever-evolving data culture. So what are these different programs, you may ask? And that's where Tableau Blueprint comes in, to show the different processes and programs to help you progress into the data leading stage. We have had the privilege to work with over 80,000 customers, including Yahoo Japan, Grab, Japan Airlines, and many more here in the APAC region. And we have gathered all these learnings and created a step-by-step guide on building data culture. In my experience, working with different customers, some customers are really excelling in this space, while other customers, although they have deployed Tableau, are still struggling. So we knew it was important to give our customers a guide that they can use regardless of size and industry. So we interviewed and studied our most successful customers, and that's how we came up with Tableau Blueprint. The blueprint is a common language to talk about how to be successful in implementing Tableau, but it's fundamentally a method to build a capability of agility, proficiency, and community within trust and governance woven throughout that journey. So here's a breakdown of the core capabilities I just mentioned. It starts here with analytics strategy on the left-hand side. And as we move in chronological order to our right into each of these 3 capabilities, and each stop has a lot of resources and ideas based on the research with thousands of our customers. There's a lot of information about Tableau Blueprint, over 200 pages on our website to be exact. And how you work through the blueprint depends on which stage you are in with your data journey. Also, I want to introduce a quick view of a tool called Blueprint Assessment, where we ask our customers to take a survey and use the data to help identify with their customers at what stage they are currently in with their data journey. I would recommend to speak with your Tableau team to run this assessment to help you understand where you are at this point and identify what is really important to you and your organization. So let's start our conversation with organization. What are some of the lessons for organizations who are trying to deploy company-wide initiatives? And you are probably not beginning with a clean slate, but somewhere in the early to middle stage, I assume, and there's so many different things to consider. So I'm going to break it down to 3 key areas. Firstly, it's not just about having the right technology or technology alone. So data leading organization also invest in people and culture. And that includes orchestrating change, and doing it efficiently requires alignment and participation from a broad set of cross-functional stakeholders. It requires new skill sets, new processes, and change in behavior from all users within your organization. So enterprise deployment requires efforts and coordination across multiple stakeholders and users with different and sometimes even opposing viewpoints and interests. Which brings me to my second point, that it's really up to leadership to set the tone for why we are on this journey. What are the business outcomes? What are the broader themes we are trying to accomplish with analytics? We see a lot of our customers where Tableau has grown within different areas of their business. And the leadership team will revisit and discuss the current use of data and analytics. A more strategic approach and ensuring future alignment also. So take NTT Docomo, one of Japan's largest telecom company, for example, which provides innovative and secure services that enable their customers to realize smarter lives. As their service is now expanding outside of mobile phone these days, they focus their data assets on deeper understanding with their customers. And the organization needed to find answers like when and which channel, and what do customers spend their money on. And they needed to identify opportunities to tackle not only quickly, but also with passion for using data visualization too. So although the initial approach was top-down from executive for NTT Docomo, everyone in the entire organization is now benefiting from the data-driven culture in various forms. Given the ability to run PDCA cycle with speed, and by conducting self-BI, NTT Docomo has been able to not only cut a few millions of their initial cost, but also reforming employees' work style by visualizing and automating labor management system. So today, over 11,000 users are connected to Tableau and looking ahead with new elements like RPA, artificial intelligence, to implement data management. So along with leadership in a strong data culture, people help each other with data activities. We see that data leading organizations prioritize heavily in community building. So building a community comes down to a framework for 3 motivations, providing a sense of connection, which is the fundamental human desire to belong. Learning, where every individual can unlock their potentials when they learn from and teach each other. And finally, recognition, which is a place to celebrate one another and acknowledge and amplify the individual works. So take our customer Sumitomo Rubber Industry for another example. The company defined community as a group of Tableau champions and other users where they share excitements and enrich their knowledge for data utilization through Tableau. So Sumitomo Rubber Industry ran Tableau Day last year, provided around 300 employees a place to get together, to collaborate, share, and recognize outstanding data contributions, which eventually were rewarded by company executives. But remember, having one half-day event is not enough. So Sumitomo Rubber Industry has several programs within the organizations, from Tableau Doctor, internal community website, use case sharing session at different manufacturing sites, and Center of Excellence team and education program, which recently extended to an introductory session for new hires. So think about what programs I've just listed at Sumitomo Rubber and which of these have the potential to have a positive impact on your organization. For smaller teams or working groups that are not part of a company-wide initiative, it is important to understand how data is used today and what analytical skills exist among your teams. Your initial focus will be on building new skills, identifying and prioritizing content, and sharing use cases, and finally curating trusted and governed data sources. So it starts with getting teams the data they need to be empowered. Your teams need to have the right access and right skills, and these 2 things are equally important to go hand in hand. Teams have very specific bucket in which they work with data, but within that bucket, giving teams the ability to share trusted data will allow your team and employees to feel more accountable and produce better results. And often teams foster a data culture through data literacy. It's not a one-size-fits-all model or simply giving users a training course to complete. It's about finding ways to encourage users to continually develop their skills, and finally, hiring people with advanced data skills. At Yahoo Japan, for the last example, they believe knowledge resides in community and its team environment. After the release of Tableau Blueprint last year, they were fast to implement some of the best practices which were written under community segment. And they set those 3 objectives, which are to improve quality of visits, to create sustainable operation, and to educate the concept of data visualization. So to achieve those 3 objectives for adoption, Yahoo Japan decided to leverage 2 of the best practices from Blueprint. First one is internal user group, and second one is IronBiz. So internal user group for them, it's not simply a place for information sharing session, but also a place to sustain users' motivations and get them inspired among each other by exchanging beneficial information beyond departmental silos. IronBiz, on the other hand, is targeting a very different audience, which is future Tableau champions. And this strategy will lead them to have higher standards in data visualization. So their own IronBiz had been uniquely established through 4 different phases so that the potential champions would not be left behind, and also entice potential new users at the same time. So finally, at the individual level, start by asking yourself, what impact do I want data to have on my community and industry? So for the individuals, it's about data literacy. And this data literacy is a combination of skills at the technology level, as well as knowing what data exists, being able to find it, analyze it, and present it. So individuals develop data literacy with the support of teams, and data literacy to individuals is all about self-service and data exploration. So beyond developing your own data skills, it's about championing the importance of data within your organization by advocating for the use of data in meetings when making recommendations and decisions. And then support your peers. Create programs where you can get together to discuss your use cases, capture and communicate the value of the work your teams are doing with data. Start growing a support network, which will help your peers. And finally, give feedback to your central BI team and Center of Excellence team. We also have community toolkit resources for a customer to get you started. And of course, a community at Tableau is what makes Tableau unique. And we have events such as Tableau Live today, externally hosted user groups, and community forums where you can seek help and connect with many brilliant minds. So to sum it up, hopefully by now we know that the answer to become data leader is about investing in a data culture. And if you need any more information and examples, that's where the Tableau Blueprint will help guide you. So think about what programs exist already within your organization today, and what are some of the programs which reflect the community framework you can build in the future. So thank you for your time. It's been great speaking here today. And please reach out to me if you have any questions or feedbacks. I'm also on LinkedIn, so I'm more than happy to connect with you all there as well. Thank you everyone again, and please stay safe.